with the Wayne Madsen Report, the Sunday 2-hour roundup coming to you live tonight. It's March 20th from Washington, D.C., and it has been a couple of weeks since we were on live, and a lot has happened. We've had the tremendously devastating earthquake in Japan. Depending on who you believe, it was either 9.1, 9.0, 8.9. That's not insignificant, by the way, because that's a logarithmic scale. But then that was followed by the tsunami, just wiped out everything. Now we have the Fukushima reactor facility in a total bad situation. A lot of information is being downplayed by the government of Japan, by the operator, and in our second half, we're going to go back in time and look at the similarities between how the 3 Mile Island event in Pennsylvania was handled, very similar to this. But in our first hour, we have joining us Nick Bryant, who is the author of the book The Franklin Scandle, which is just if you haven't read it, I urge you to read it. This is one of those topics that send members of Congress running for the exits, judges, you name it. It's something that has to be talked about. This problem with pedophilia and child prostitution has just invaded our politics and big business and the churches, and no one wants to talk about it. Simple reason being, and I left out the media too. Simple reason being is many of these upper crust and elitists, the oligarchs, are involved in it. So of course they don't want this stuff touched. So Nick Bryant will be joining us, and we'll talk about his book and just some amazing revelations. The Franklin Scandle, having to do with the Franklin savings and loan in Nebraska, but that just branched out into so many other areas here in Washington, New York, and even into the White House. And we'll talk about that. And the toll-free number, if you'd like to call the program tonight, is 800-313-9443. That's 800-313-9443. Before I bring Nick on, after the break, I want to play a clip. We have had several eruptions of this pedophilia issue, all having to do with Congress, early 1980s. And you'll hear a very familiar name mentioned in the clip I'll play before we bring Nick on. But then we heard it again, the end of the 80s. Front page of the Washington Times, issue after issue, midnight tours of the White House conducted for underage pages. And then just a few years ago, here we had another eruption of this with the Mark Foley case. Mark Foley, the Republican congressman from Florida. It never ends. And the House Ethics Committee and the other oversight bodies and even law enforcement just cover this up. It's a huge scandal, and it just again, well, as I sit here and talk to you tonight, I'm sure in a couple of years we'll have another one of these scandals erupting in Congress, and again, nothing will be done about it. Especially now that the Republicans have the House. Go figure. That's usually where this stuff comes from. And we'll be right back with our guest, Nick Bryant, right after this short break. This is Wayne Madsen from Washington.